Can this team, as constituted, win the NBA championship this year, or is there still a move to be made that would put them over the hump?
I wouldn't make a trade. I usually scoff at when fans say, don't make a trade, the team's too good right now. But this is a unique circumstance. Certainly, if there was that perfect trade without messing up the chemistry of the top 5 or 6, 7 players, I guess I'd consider it, but I can't imagine there is. The Cavs, only negative about the Cavs is they have no assets. They essentially have no assets to trade to get anybody really valuable enough. And to make a trade to maybe get a minuscule upgrade, but that would screw up the chemistry, no, I want nothing to do with that. I would not make a deal.
I think when you look at the roster, I don't think the deal that they can make or the move that they can make is going to improve the roster. I think the roster improvement just comes from guys still continuing to work in this system. Remember, it's the first year. They haven't put everything in. You still got guys like Max Strus who's trying to work his way back in. He had a really good game last night. Guys who are like Isaac Okoro and Dean Wade who have been in and out of the lineup due to injuries. If you can get everybody back ready to go healthy, those are going to be your improvements that are going to pay the most dividends, because then you're going to work like a fine oil machine. Right now, there's a lot of in and out, in and out. The core 4 has been there. They've been really blessed with some good health. But if you can get those guys coming back, understanding their roles, like we said, it's a good problem to have. They can go 10 deep. And so now it's just figuring out the pieces and rotations, how to move, especially when you're trying to play against the Celtics and some of these teams in the playoffs.
They actually go 11 deep, by the way. I mean, they're playing 11 guys at giving minutes right now.
You can't have this conversation without talking about where they are with the cap and the tax and everything else, because that plays a huge part in this, and should they or should they not make a move. We've talked about it on the YouTube show multiple times already. They're a couple $1 million into the tax right now. Ideally, they don't want to start that tax clock until next year.
Right.
So how do you trim $2 million without disrupting what you have on the floor? And that's really the question that I think this front office has to answer. Is there a move out there we can make where we talk about how deep this team is? Would they be better off upgrading one piece? Can you upgrade the backup big? Can you get something better than George Niang? Can you combine 2 salaries, get a little bit more money on one player, but yet still dip under the tax? Is there a way to do that? If you're going to pay the tax, then really pay the tax. Is there a move to make to go all in that bumps you into the tax and starts that clock a little bit sooner, but makes you increasingly better? I don't have all the answers as we sit here today, but you can't have the do they make a trade or not, should they or should they not make a trade, without having the tax conversation and all the implications that come with that, because we've talked about this before. I've written about it extensively. This team has a really long runway in terms of they're young and everybody signed to long term. This is not a one-year thing. This is not a team at the end of its window. This is a team at the beginning of its window. And do you want to stunt something 4 years from now when this could really be popping because of $2 million today?
But you never know, Jason.
But you're right. You're right. You never know.
Every other year they could have injuries,
And that's why they are really kind of in a really tricky spot right now of what do you do.
And George Niang, even though he may be a little flawed as a player, from what I'm told, and again, you and Mike would know better than me, he's extremely popular in the locker room.
I'm not saying you have to trade him.
No, yeah.
You can upgrade that spot. You can put somebody better in front of him and keep him in the locker room.
That's true. I am inclined to stay exactly where you are. You're the #1 team in the NBA by most metrics. You have a nice, comfortable lead for the 1 in the East. I think the most important thing from here to the end of the regular season, outside of health, is maintaining that #1 seed. That is going to be the ace in the hole for them in the series with Boston. I don't know how this team, as constituted, finds a way to beat Boston in their place. I just don't. So, I mean, not to say that they can't or won't, but I would much rather have 4 of the 7 in Cleveland. I'd feel really good about their chances to get to the NBA
Real
Finals.
quick, staying at what is important not only for that reason, but also, to me, there's a clear line of demarcation in the East after 3. The Knicks are also very, very good. Yep. I'd like to see the Celtics and Knicks have to play in the semis and not have to play both of them.
100%. Yeah. And for no other reason, take a little bit of energy
they beat
out of
each other up. Yeah.
All right, we're taking a break. When we come back, we're talking about the Cleveland Browns. They will play one.